Alright, salutations everyone. My name is Silta and welcome back to ClickCast. I haven't done this in months. I'm trying to get back into it. And today I have a special guest with us.
Special, that's special in many ways. Hello, I'm Jebediah Blackwater, also known as Jeb. I'm that famous brown wolf you'll sometimes see on Twitter. I'm sure Stelter retweets my stuff because he's a good boy and he loves me, really, don't you?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, no, not much to say. I'm just a good friend and a lovely person, and you should all love me. Yay.
That is quite the wholesome introduction. So, how's your day going so far? Before we get into the nitty gritty.
Oh, I'm fine. It's just a lazy Sunday over here in Britain land. Not much to do since lockdown, so just, bolling about.
That's right, you're British. You're from the British land. So, recently, we had our nominees or whatever for, the US. How do you feel about all that out of the,
Oh, did you have that? Oh, no, I had no idea that.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard, but,
Oh, yeah, didn't you get, a new CEO of America or something?
Yes, new corporate capital CEO.
Yeah, no, to be honest, I've been watching that very carefully, because I do like politics and law and stuff, and it's been very interesting to watch over here, not just for trolling purposes, but it's just interesting to watch how the whole process goes. I can't really say either side was the better, but I am glad to see Trump throwing a massive hissy fit. That was such a gem on my Twitter this morning.
Yeah, I try for the most part to play the neutral card, even though that's not the best card to be using in American politics.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I try to be impartial, but at the same time, it is funny to watch.
Yeah, at times it's really hard to stay neutral when one is pretty worse than the other. Don't get me wrong, I don't like Donald Trump at all, and I don't like Joe Biden either. I don't like either of them.
No. You've got the same thing we've got over here for British politics, because our main two parties are Labour and Conservative. The Conservative Party is penny pinchers, who will literally sell off anything just to make a buck. And the Tory part, the Labour Party, are kind of the underdogs, although recently they've gone in a very anti-Semitic route for some reason. In the last 4 years, I'd say, which is weird. So
I don't understand British politics very much, and by the way, anyone watching, this is probably going to be a little bit of politics at the beginning of this, at least.
Yeah, don't worry, we won't talk about politics for too much. I don't want to bore everyone.
But no, you guys have a prime minister. That's sort of like a president, right? You guys elect the prime minister.
Yes, pretty much the same. I mean, we elect for MPs to represent our counties and constituencies. So I live in Norfolk, the east of England. I can't remember who we voted in, but it was an overall Conservative majority. So the Conservatives got in, which meant Boris Johnson got in, which nobody was happy about. But over here we're a bit different, because where you have mainly two parties and third parties, we have hundreds of the goddamn things. I think there's about 8 major ones, including Green Party, UKIP, which are the worst ones, the Liberal Democrats, which I think went extinct, and other nation independent parties. Because the thing with our politics is, we don't just govern who's in charge of England, it's who's in charge of England and Ireland and Wales and Scotland and all the other little islands that we also own. So it's kind of a big thing, you know what I mean? So, and there's parties which are trying to break up that Kingdom United stuff. So, it's kind of a hot topic at the moment.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, it's been pretty, what's the word? Enlightening over here to listen to everyone's political takes, whether you asked for it or not.
Oh, definitely. However bad you think your politics is, there's always going to be another country that's worse off. It could be like Russia, where they have a quote-unquote presidential fair election. Or even like Uganda, where it's whoever can kill the most gay people. It's really, it's one of those grass is green on the other side situations. So,
here's the thing about so I don't want to say society, but like
A society.
any country needs like a leader. That's just basic human psychology. We need someone to like look up to and like function, right?
Yeah.
But at the
You
same
need somebody-
time, it's like an enigma. It's like a problem in its own self, because most of the time when you put one man or woman into power, you know, it starts to become this like gray area where you don't know how much power they have. If you give them any power,
Yeah.
they kind of subside what the people want.
Okay, so that's called separation of power, which is like what dictatorships are. But in a dictatorship, there is no separation of power. You know, it's like the dictator states everything. Then you get prime ministers and presidents where there is complete separation of power, where they can put out edits, but they don't have the authority to like imprison every single person opposing against them. There is some libertarian powers there which prevents them.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's what like most Western democracies have. You know, they have that bit of civil liberty, which is, you know, it's got swings and roundabouts. It does impede progress of a ruler, but it also gives out liberties and freedoms, which is all good. You know, it makes people happier. Yeah. So it, yeah.
I don't know. I'm iffy because I'm a pretty firm believer in one man should not have like
One man shouldn't have all that power. No. The ideal government type, I would argue, would be the Greeks had it. It was called an monarchy. I might be wrong here. I'm going back to my history lessons. It's where power was divided up, but amongst a group of people. No one person was in charge, but it was like a collective cabinet of leaders. They were all accountable for their own divisions, but no one person was accountable for all of them. So, but then again, is that the best ruling party either? There's no real answer. Like,
when
democracy,
one person has power over another, it's just the whole thing's a mess at that point.
well,
But you
absolutely.
can't have equality. I gotta choose my words carefully here. It's hard to have equality when everyone has such various different political beliefs and like religious
Oh, exactly.
beliefs. So it's kind of like a paradox in itself.
Yeah, imagine being president, looking after what is essentially 100 million waddling skittles with different haircuts, all of which want different things, some of which are violently against others. You know, you're never gonna win. So you've just got to try and appease the most skittles, or the most powerful skittles, even. So, what can you do?
It's definitely it's like a fire that just keeps burning.
Yeah.
But,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
and you know, fire's destructive, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
But that's just politics for you. I mean, over here we've got the wild card that is the British Monarchy, which I absolutely love. I think it's amazing that we still have a monarchy. It's amazing that they have more powers than what we assume they have. Like, most people think that the British monarchy at this point is just the Queen comes out, waves at people, swings a sword and knights them.
That's
like,
what I've been told.
No, okay, I love talking about the monarchy because people just think they're a waste of money, but actually I wouldn't be where I am without them, because they have, first of all, they're in charge of trade deals as well. The royal family will go out and organise deals with the military mainly, and they'll get great deals for the UK and offer contracts overseas. They also help socially within the UK because they offer grants. The most popular one would be the Prince's Trust, which I've benefited from. The Prince's Trust was set up by Prince Charles as mainly a horticultural initiative to help people get into like landscape gardening or just botany. I went on a 4-week course, and at the end of it, I came up with some experience. I started my career in horticulture that way, and 6 years later, hey ho, I'm a fully qualified grower. So, yeah, I wouldn't be where I am without the royal family and the Prince's Trust, so I am grateful to that. They've helped so many people. I'd argue that the Prince's Trust and other trust funds and grants like that have helped young people get into work more than what the government has in some cases. just because it's got that one-to-one conversation between teachers and students. It gives people that push.
Yeah, and I've definitely learned just from like an academic standpoint that I don't do well in class environments.
Oh no, not everyone does.
No, I struggle very hard to do class environments. I do best with like a tutor or a one-on-one course with someone.
Exactly.
That's just how I learn best.
Yeah, no. Education, I find, is better when it's more personal, because there's many ways to teach people. You can teach them in groups where the information is spread between lots of people. You can show them hand to hand, so you can get like a feel of it, or just one-to-one, or even smaller groups. But education at the current state is hit or miss with people.
It's
I mean, here in the UK, it's just one system really. So.
Yeah, education system. I've talked about it in past podcast episodes, so I won't get too much into it. But in the U.S., the education system is very flawed, I'd say. It's they try to cram into your head this like patriotic mindset, which first of all I don't like that forcing kids into thinking that their country's the greatest, because then you don't see the flaws in it and you can't grow from it.
It's almost like, would you say it was more like an indoctrination?
Yes, indoctrination. Very.
Sorry, I can't pronounce words properly. I'm British. Okay. Please forgive me. No, we sort of have that here in the UK. They'll teach you a set standard of information, except it's not really indoctrination as much as it's just like old school teaching. And the problem with that is, there's a theory in science that information that you learn will change in 5 years' time. I remember going to school, a simple example, the taste buds. That is a huge lie. They'll tell you that, sweet goes here, savoury goes there, and bitter's at the back. 5 years later, they tell us, okay, that's not applicable anymore. We didn't know what that was, we didn't listen to science, and now we have to change it all quickly. So, that's our major problem with schools.
It's probably history.
Oh, well, we're not going to get into that subject. That's a hot topic.
Yeah, very much is.
Yeah. A problem I had at school was mainly teachers. My biggest problem was when I was nearly finishing school, I had all my coursework for ICT all ready to go, and I handed it to the teacher, and then he just lost everybody's coursework. I was like 2 years. He just didn't send it in at time. He missed the deadline, and we all lost about 2 grades. I was meant to get a B in ICT, and I got a D. And we all really lost out. And then we found out later that he was dying of cancer, and it was like, and nobody thought to pass this down to the next person down below him. It's fair enough that the guy's dying of cancer, but at the same time, those grades really were important to some of us,
I understand, yeah. I had a friend who was in a similar situation. I went to a private Christian school, as people know who watch the podcast. And a friend who was a grade above me had all of his papers, his test scores all configured, gave them to the principal. The principal kept putting it off until the day before the deadline, I think, and he turned them in. Because he just wouldn't, he just did his own thing. It's very irresponsible and risky when you're having to trust someone else with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, it happens. You can be the smartest person in the room, but timekeeping will make fools of all of us.
That's true.
But
and going back to your teacher, how you said he was he was passing of cancer. That's kind of like a fear of mine. I don't talk about it much, but I've got a fear of getting cancer.
Cancer is a very serious thing to worry about. I've had scares every now and again. It's I've had family members die from it. I don't know if you have or haven't.
I have a grandmother who survived twice, and they had to take out her lung, and she only has one lung.
Oh, I had a grandmother who was dying of cancer, but this was an ongoing thing. She was diagnosed, I think, 10 years before she passed, and when she finally passed, we asked the doctor what type of cancer it was specifically that killed her, and he just shrugged and went, "Take your pick, riddled, mate."
Wow.
You know. She was an old Irish lady, you know. She took care of herself in her own ways, and sadly, you know, she did the best she could, but you know, it just gets to you.
Some people see it as more of a blessing to see. I guess they're trying to stay optimistic about it, but they see it as a way to kind of figure out what they want to do a lot quicker. I don't know. It's tricky.
I can see that. Yeah, I can understand that. Some people treat it as if it's like a deadline. Like, oh, I've only got so much time left, I'm going to make the most of it. I think I'd probably be the same way if it did actually happen to me, but, you know, never know.
I mean, who knows? Like, maybe we'll have a cure for it at some point. I don't know. It's a very strange disease, because I didn't study biology in like a course or anything, but I collected biological books and I'd read up on them and stuff. And cancer is it's like a self-eating disease. It's really just your body fighting against itself to live in a weird way. The best way to explain it is a cancer cell wants to live in your body, so it flees from the other cells that are trying to get rid of it, and it starts to replicate, and it causes, like, you know, just errors in the body, like malfunctioning organs. And
it's trying to mimic what other cells are without actually being that cell. So it can try and it's trying to basically like mimic other cells, but the body's like, oh, you're not meant to be here. What the fuck are you?
If
you really, cancer's just sat there,
yeah, if you really think about it, the cancer is just trying to like do its own thing in your body. It's just not welcome because it's hurting itself and you.
Yeah, and it's a hard thing really to describe what cancer is, but it's just a great equalizer when you think about it. You know, you can be the strongest man in the world, you can be the smartest man, but cancer is cancer. You know, terminal illness is just that.
Yeah. I try not to think about it too much, but I do have a strong interest in biology. That's something I really like, and with modern medicine improving and growing every like year, it's crazy.
Oh yeah, I try and keep up on modern medicine. Okay, so a new thing I found out today, well, not today, over the past few weeks. So I have a friend who has like really bad neurological problems. Like, he'll just in his face mainly, he'll just get burning sensations in his cheeks, and the past few weeks it's been really bad. He said it's been like a hot poker poking into his face. So they took him to the doctors. They pumped him full of drugs to keep him comfortable for a few days, and then they brought him in and said, okay, we're going to do a very special operation on you. And what they did was they cut open his cheek from like the cheekbone to the lip, and they found the nerves, which were like basically broken, just in pain. They pulled them out, not detaching them from the body, still attached, and they froze it with liquid nitrogen to freeze it, and that fixed it. They just stitched it all back up, put it all together. He was swollen for a few days afterwards, but he said he had no pain afterwards, which was fascinating. Like, the fact that they can fix things like that with essentially just coldness, you know, it's amazing.
Definitely. Like, you know, looking back, like just even 100 years ago, we did not know very much about the human body. We didn't know much about how to fix illnesses. We discovered bacteria, diseases. We started to learn how to fight that.
Yeah. Imagine learning that, you know, that some mold you've left on a plate can cure 80% of STDs. Imagine how much that would blow your mind.
I mean, it is pretty mind-blowing if you think about it. Just tiny things like that can really change the course of history for mankind.
Exactly.
Penicillin, you know, was found that way, and
exactly by pure accident. That to me is
like what have we missed out on so far because of that kind of.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to do any more washing up. I'm just going to see what I can grow. I'll find the cure for cancer in the washing up.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I'm pretty sure I've got some shirts that might have the cure. I'll cure COVID with some dirty boxers.
You heard about the self-cleaning clothes project? What? Yeah, there was this project a few years ago. I don't know if they canceled it or what.
Okay.
But they're clothes that are woven with bacteria that cleans it itself and its surrounding areas.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know what happened to the project. It was years ago I heard about this and I was amazed by it, but I don't know whatever happened to the project.
Wow, I'm not saying that's a great idea, but it's it's something.
Hey, you never know what can come of it. Now we're trying to make spider silk Kevlars, so go for it.
Well, I heard of that a few years ago. That spider silk Kevlar. I'm arachnophobic, so fuck that shit.
Oh, I love spiders.
Oh no! I hate them. I absolutely hate them.
I understand. A lot of people are put off by their mini legs.
It's not just the legs; it's the eyes, it's the fuzzy body. It's like, ugh, cobwebs even.
Yeah.
I'm usually a big, strong guy. I can deal with any animal, but spiders legitimately make me scream. So.
I was hanging out with my sister's boyfriend yesterday, and yeah, he had the same issue with the jumping spider next to him. He did not handle that very well.
Yeah.
Nah, technology's coming along very nicely, despite what people are doomsday talk and all that stuff. But technology's coming pretty far.
Oh, definitely.
I'm really impressed and happy with how fast technology's pacing. It makes me wonder what's going to happen in the next 10 years before, whatever happens.
Oh, absolutely. I'm looking forward to, whenever there's a jump in technology, I'm always impressed. Yeah. We'll be coming up to the 5G era soon. Everybody's going to have smartphones implanted into their heads, It's going to be lit, bro. It's going to be like Watch Dogs.
Yeah, I recently beat that game, and I think you've been playing it too recently.
Yeah, I was just playing it before we started talking. Just smoothly segue towards video games.
Yeah, I really liked Watch Dogs. What do you call it? Time? I don't know. It's set in the year 2040 or something, and it's everyone's kind of progressing a little bit in technology.
I'd say somewhere near Cyberpunk. I'm joking that this is Cyberpunk 2070 London edition, but honestly, I'm looking forward to Cyberpunk coming out just to compare the two, because I think this might have the edge over it.
I think it's more realistic, Watch Dogs Legion compared to Cyberpunk 2070.
Oh, definitely. Me and Hayes have been talking about it for quite a while. We've been very British over this game. It's funny more than anything. It's got a lot of British charm to it, which I like.
I like the earpieces that everyone wears. It's kind of like it's not a phone per se, but it's just I don't know what you would call it. It's called an optic, but I don't know what they do exactly. I think it just lets you talk to people.
Yeah, I'd say it's more just like a walkie-talkie drilled into your head.
Because everyone still uses phones in that game to do things.
Oh yeah, and I love the designs of all the futuristic things. The drones look really sleek, like something out of a sci-fi film. The phones are all see-through, pieces of glass. It's very stylized, so I can't hate it. I think the only issues I've had are sometimes when I talk to NPCs and cutscenes, enemies will still try to attack me. So it's I'm doing one thing and the enemy's just swinging into thin air, and it's dude, you're breaking the immersion.
I've not
what
had
are you doing?
That issue. My only complaint was how repetitive the game got after you beat the story.
Well, most Ubisoft games are like that, to be fair,
Yeah. I literally just run around scanning people to see if there's anyone worth recruiting. I usually don't find anyone.
I've got a few nitpicks with the game. It is slowly becoming a bit repetitive. Most of the missions I'm completing, I just stand in one place, hack a camera, hack another camera. Oh, spy drone, hack that, and then just plug it into something, and I'm done. It is kind of repetitive in some ways, but then you do get some combat scenes which do break it up. And it is nice to have a game which, you can do like non-lethal takedowns.
Oh,
It
yeah.
relies on, I like that. Like, you get the option to kill people, but you've also got the option to just beat them up or use a taser, and it's like, well, that's kind of realistic, you know. Recently, though, I did recruit a pensioner who has a revolver, and I've just been using that with her, and I call her Granny Guns and Kills.
I got bored after I beat the game, and I stalked one person, and I like added them to the team, potential recruits, and I like monitored them, and then I got like a sadistic streak in me, and I just started going after their family and friends.
Oh no!
They ended up hating DeadSec, and I
why.
terrorized them and stuff, and then I logged off the game.
Yeah.
I got back on the next morning, and I got a message from Bagley saying that someone had kidnapped one of my operatives, and sure enough, it was the guy that I've been terrorizing. I think his name was Simon Giez or something like that.
Oh my god, you're a bully. You're a cyber bully.
He was like a Clan Kelly member, so I was just like, I just decided to ruin his day.
I'm gonna fuck you up, mate, in my own way.
See, if you want to hurt someone, you don't go after them, you go after the people closest to them.
Damn, I mean...
Okay,
psychopath, you know, whatever.
No, you know what? I'm gonna edit that out.
Edit that out, why don't...
That is like a pretty creepy thing to do, though, and I imagine if, like, you were able to hack into people's like personal data so easily, you could do things like that in the real world, which is so frightening.
I mean, yeah, if I was in the world of Watch Dogs, I would be such a troll to people. Like,
oh, for sure.
Just being able to hack their phones, I would just make everyone. Okay, I'd make everyone's phone in like a 2-meter radius of me just play the cha-cha slide all the time, just to see people wound up. And then I'd probably just hack like big billboards and make them play, I don't know, some cringy meme. I'll probably make them play the Uru Rao song on repeat. Oh.
But like, no, it got me thinking, because after I beat Watch Dogs, I was thinking, programming an AI is really cool. I should look into it, and I started looking into it, just very briefly.
Oh, yes.
And,
did you look into the Turing Test?
Into the what?
The Turing Test.
I have not. I don't know what that is.
Okay, well, I'll explain it to you later. You tell me what you thought of programming AIs.
So... how do I word this? So I looked into programming AIs, and I did manage, with the help of a friend, program a very simple virtual assistant that takes voice commands and gives me command prompts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a pretty interesting, fun experiment. And then I realized there's things like deep learning and neural networking, which are different ways for the AI to kind of teach itself.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this one project we're going to work on, probably today, where someone took Reddit from 2017.
Right.
Programmed an AI, a deep learning AI machine, and basically he had conversations with the AI, and at first he was very dumb, but it started taking tidbits of Reddit posts, because it went through all of Reddit, and it started like making a database of information, and it made a chatbot out of the whole Reddit community.
Mm-hmm.
And he was going on about how saying, you know, if you don't want the Reddit bot to look into something like, you know, r/incels, for example, which is now a deleted post or subreddit, I believe.
Yes, it is deleted, sadly. Oh, that was such a good thread.
But you can thread the bot to look through specific subreddits, so it would have a more trained mindset.
Yeah.
And I think what we're going to be doing is trying to get it to look through science subreddits and more professional subreddits, instead of toxic cesspools.
Oh yeah, give it some culture, why don't you? You know.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, that technology has been around for a little while, but they have done amazing leaps with it. You think that's amazing? They've made an AI which has analyzed all the paintings from the artist Rembrandt, and they taught the AI how to paint, and it made a very accurate recreation of Rembrandt using paint strokes and information of colors, and they tried to pass it off as a genuine, and they did. Like art extraordinaires, they looked at it and they thought, this is a new one. And you know, AIs can do amazing things. They can write books, they can do short novels, they can make speeches. You know, deep learning has been going on for, I'd say, from the early 80s. I think the most popular one was Deep Blue, which was a chess AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So-
I pretty much wait for the day that we can have like personal AIs like to our phones and stuff. Not like Siri or Google, but something truly personal, like personalized assistant that kind of knows your stuff.
Well, I mean, to some degree, that does sort of already exist. I mean, Siri does learn from prompts and inputs that you put into it. Like, if you do it enough, they will have your favorite searches saved, and they will recognize your voice even. So, but I know what you mean, like a more personal, like your own personal butler sort of thing.
Yeah, like your own Bagley from Watch Dogs, because you know Bagley's pretty. He's got like his own personality and stuff.
Yeah. Well, that more comes down to personality than an AI. That's a whole different code of ethics, to be honest.
Yeah.
Which are a bit all over the place.
And
That actually got
there's like projected predictions or like predictions that in next 10 years we will have stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where we'll have our own personal assistants.
The ultimate test, though, for an AI is called the Turing Test. I don't know if you've heard of it, but
I probably have and I just don't remember it, but what is it?
okay, so famous British coder Alan Turing from World War II, he was like the godfather of coding and programming. He came up with the idea of modern computing and AIs and said, one day we will have AIs which are almost unidentical to human beings. They'll be able to give proper responses. And he came up with a test, a series of questions, which you'd have to ask the AI, and if the other person on the other end couldn't tell if it was a robot or not, it would pass the Turing test. And so far, nothing's passed it yet, but they are damn close, apparently. It's very Lovecraft horror, if you know what I mean. It is terrifying, just because we don't know enough about it.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's definitely creepy because we don't know where it's gonna go.
Oh, no.
Of course. It's kind of like walking into a dark room trying to find the light switch. You don't know what you're gonna find when you reach that switch.
Yeah, it could be a pot of gold or it could be hellfire. But
Yeah.
I mean, depending on who makes the AIs, it could be. Depending on who makes the AIs is the big thing. I mean, if it was made by a company, it'll probably be something that's going to cost you $1 million and try and cost you an extra 500 afterwards. But if it was made by government, it would probably be there for protection more than anything. It'd be like a military AI.
Yeah, 'cause,
So,
you know,
like,
China
yeah.
has like facial recognition AI and stuff, and that's creepy. That's really alarming.
Oh, that's China for you. They like to keep the taps on people. I mean, if you're listening now, China, you're doing fine. No comments here.
Or yeah, we will start to reach, and that's the thing when we reach new developmental and technologies and stuff.
Yeah.
We'll have to come up with the morals of, you know, the situations and what can be done with it and what can't be. Going from
Definitely.
medicine, like new drugs, for example, they have to go through testing and stuff. New machinery has to go through testing, and then you gotta have the ethicals involved in it.
Yeah, well, that comes down. I mean, that is judged by a country-to-country basis. I mean,
Yeah.
I think America, if I'm stand corrected, has the federal drug regulatory
That's
body.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what Britain has. I think it just all goes past the NHS. We just, we look at it and go, yeah, that'll do, and just slap it out. Put grandma on that makeshift dialysis machine. She'll live for another week.
Jesus.
But no, new drugs and medicines are always produced by the pharmaceutical corporations, but they are always put through more intensive practices. But as of late, the cure for COVID, the regulatory practices they put in place for vaccines, they have removed a lot more red tape because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons, they want to push this thing out, and they are. I do keep on hearing, "Oh, we're close to a cure, and it's like, yeah, it could be a bit closer, mate, but keep going.
Oh man, COVID is something else entirely. I haven't talked about it much with anyone. How's quarantine for you?
Well, this is our second quarantine. The first one was a lot more chaotic. This one is a bit almost as chaotic, but we sort of know. The main thing going on is finances, because we got a furlough scheme going on where non-essential workers are just paid 60% of their wage by the government, and your employer can pay either the 40% to make it 100 or nothing.
Oh.
So people are getting at least 60% if you're furloughed. I, however, am not furloughed because apparently I'm an essential worker. How that happens, I don't know.
You're a farmer boy. You grow the growth.
I don't grow. I grow plants. I grow pansies and violas. I grow flowers. I don't grow like food.
Oh.
So
yeah, I don't see how. No offense, but I don't see how that's essential work. If you grow flowers, I mean, flowers are pretty. They smell nice, but
their argument was, and I quote: "In these troubling times, people need flowers to lift spirits." And I just retorted back with, "Yeah, and I need to not cough up blood." But hey ho. But I mean, on the plus side though, where I live, we've had a very low infection rate. Nobody I know has caught it. There's been speculations, but I've just been dumb luck. I've just been fine, and there have been practices, red tapes in place to protect us against possible infections. Work is doing random tests on people. I'm keeping people at 2 meters distance. I'm spraying down everything with bleach in the mornings. We're doing what we can, but
yeah,
it's still not. Yeah.
Here in America, no one takes it seriously, and it's so frustrating.
Well, maybe now they will. You don't know.
Nah, probably not.
Well, I mean, you'll all get big masks to wear and stuff, so.
I was the only one who wore a mask at this fall festival yesterday at a church. I got odd looks from all of them, and I was just like, I did not care.
No. I mean, we're usually good with masks over here. You have to wear them if you're going into shops or inside places. We're still keeping 2 meter rule from people. You're not allowed to mix with people outside of your social bubble. So, one person from one house can see another household, but that's kind of it. So, we're taking it seriously. But not as serious as other countries, like Wales. They've had a 2-week lockdown before we did. And in some of their shops, they've even closed off non-essential items. So, pots and pans, you can't buy that because it's not essential. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's... I can see where they're coming from, but it can't be comfortable living in Wales at the moment.
I'll be honest, since quarantine, nothing's changed for me, because I didn't go out before.
Fair enough.
I'm just a hermit in my bedroom every day.
Oh.
I'm just I scuttle around my house a little bit here and there. I mean, there's nowhere for me to go.
Yeah.
There's a pandemic going on. Even before then, I didn't go out.
I mean, if that's the life you want to live, I do that sometimes. I'm just I don't want to go out. I'll just stay here and play video games.
I'm playing on New Game Plus right now.
Oh yeah, I've only just managed to defeat that AI woman. What's her name?
No, I was talking about me. Never mind. I think the joke went over your head.
Probably did. I'm a very dumb wolf. We have established this.
It's fine. Yeah, things have. Nothing's changed. I'm trying to keep it happy. I'm trying to make myself have a more optimistic outlook on things. And I gotta say, like, yesterday did kind of get my hopes up a little with the election and stuff. Or the. You know.
And how are you taking it today?
It's already faded. I'm just vibing today. I mean, I'm still a little cheery, but
yeah, you had that buzz, and now you're sort of coming down from the buzz. Would you say?
I take what I can get. Yeah.
Well, I mean, mental health is a very important part of life, especially in these trying times. You have to take the small victories where you can.
Yeah.
You know?
If there's one thing I love talking about, it's psychology and mental health and the arts.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried dabbling in psychology. It's interesting to watch human behavior sometimes.
Yeah, I self-teach I do self-teaching. Like, if I want to study something, I just read up books on it. And psychology is definitely interesting, and it's very unique how people are handling the quarantine. People are in denial. Some people are in fear. Yeah. Some people are in, like, overdrive fear. Like, I know some people that won't even open their door. It's like Bloodborne.
It is fun to watch that sort of mentality. You know, one person will be hosting 100 people party just to say fuck it all, and then some people will just be too scared, like hoarding baked beans and like locking all the windows and doors because of the virus. Yeah, some people take it seriously, some people take it way too seriously, and some people just bury their heads in the sand.
What month are we going on now? Like 9 months of quarantines and the pandemic being a global thing?
It's definitely been a long time.
I think last year it was first discovered around November. People started warning people in December. Trump kept it on the down low till like 3 months ago.
3 months?
I don't know. It was just a couple months ago. He was just like, yeah, the Chinese hoax, it's a threat.
Everyone's got Chinese flu. It's all China's fault. They should compensate us for it. It's like, oh, you had a madman for president. You know that. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I love Donald Trump. Don't get me wrong. He's fun to watch, but at the same time, like, there's no. He is just. There's no filter.
I'm afraid there's gonna be like a coup attempt, if I'm being honest with.
I know what you mean, because he does have that cult following, and he does have the militia's backing, but what you've also got to understand is, they're just a militia. They're just civilians with guns.
And to be fair, if you've seen his Trump supporters, maybe I should stop myself right there.
Okay, I will say one thing. I was watching it today, about the Trump supporters, and there was a guy in, like, a floral shirt with camouflage jacket on top. And I thought, you are not fooling anybody, buddy.
The ones I've seen here are just on scooters, and they can't even get out like Walmart.
Oh my god, imagine them coming at you.
Yeah, like, they're gonna run me over with their scooters.
Would they be classified as like the tank battalion or cavalry?
Probably. Not. Oh. Maybe tanks?
I'm just saying, if, if militia members are on scooters, that can't be good for them, Like, you're meant to be able to fight against home invaders.
Safe. I think America's safe. Looking back now, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if there was a coup with your scooter militia, I'm pretty sure that your army would be able to... You have drones, for God's sake. You can't be that bad.
How long would an American coup last? Well, as long as their scooters are charged.
Oh, I've hit a flatty. Can't move.
Yeah, but seriously, it's... I was worried about it, but looking back now, not really. I think people are gonna do stuff, but...
Oh, definitely. I also think that Trump supporters will eventually just come around and accept what's happened. Like,
I don't know
When
about
they
that one.
have, well, when they have, well, when they have the inquiry, and they will have an inquiry to whether it was fair or not, and when they find out that, yep, it was all plain and all, there was no cheating, they'll just be like, okay, well, Trump won that way, so we'll win this way. I don't quote me on it. They could just turn around and go, nope, not my president, and just go mental. But
that should clarify. I don't like either political party, but I really don't like the Trump administration and his supporters right now, or ever.
yeah,
They
I
do
think,
straight up attack the minorities and like LGBT communities.
yeah, I think that the Trump was more dangerous than Biden will be, but that doesn't mean Biden's going to be all like yellow brick roads and sunshine and lollipops. Like,
course.
Biden's done a lot of damage in the past as well. Like, if you look at the Black Lives Matter movement and how much police brutality there is, Biden signed off on a lot of that. And he's been inactive for quite a while. I mean, I can't remember when he started his career in politics, but he hasn't really been
70s?
doing much. That's like over 50 years. But he's not exactly been changing much for people. Like,
I think that's the thing. I don't trust politicians. I don't care who you are. I don't trust if you're working in politics.
one of my favorite quotes is, any man that wants to be in charge of America should not be in charge of America.
Ooh, I like that. I need to get that on a t-shirt. Or a poster. Wake up to it every morning.
Because you think about it, if you want to be in charge of that massive of a country, or any country, you must have some sort of mentality complex where
You've got like
you
a
just
plan
have that.
here.
Yeah, you have a plan, and you can't really be trusted. I wouldn't trust anybody that wants to be my boss just because I know that they want to have power over me.
Most of our best presidents weren't necessarily politicians. So, I mean, Trump wasn't a politician. He was like a TV show celebrity.
He was I'd say, failed entrepreneur, if I'm being honest. I mean, his dad was a great investor and entrepreneur, and he mainly floated. His casinos tanked, and they got by just by Daddy Trump's money. So, but
I'm curious to see how things flesh out from here on out.
oh,
I can hope for the best, but I don't expect good things from the. I expect better things. I'll say that.
Well, prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. That's what I tell people.
Biden was probably gonna like lose his sanity, what little he has left, and Kamala's gonna step in place.
I can see that happening. I can see. In all honesty, I hope Biden steps down within 3 years before he gets too sick or ill. I mean, he's an old man. I mean, the fact that he's now president is kind of. I'd chalk it up to elderly abuse. I'm sorry. Imagine you're 77. I think that's his age, 77. And you're being told that you're in charge of America for 4 years. Like, that's a daunting task for anybody.
Who's America? Kamala, get me my ice cream. That's all I know about him, is that he likes motorcycles and ice cream.
I want an ice cream. Am I running for a beauty pageant? Did I win?
Did I win?
No, I think he's probably gonna step down, and Harris will probably take his place.
And honestly, that's a little scarier for me, because she's not very LGBT friendly.
No, but neither was Mike Pence.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna go down that road, say what we want about Donald Trump, at least he didn't die and leave it all to Mike Pence, who would have brought in gay conversion camps for sure. That dude did not like. He was a die-hard Christian. He would have thrown all the abortions out the window. He would just be like, no, God is the answer.
When religion and politics mix, it's very
they shouldn't.
gross.
When religion and politics mix, it usually makes the worst of everything.
It makes a cult.
Well, I mean, you've sort of had that for the past 4 years, not being rude.
Yeah.
Yeah, cult behaviors aren't that far off from politics behaviors. I mean, if you were to compare, say, the Waco cult, if I remember, can't remember what their names was. Um, there's been cults all over the world. Actually, Jamestown, that's a great example for cult behavior.
Oh God.
You know, I love talking about that just because it was so insane what happened. You know, guy takes a bunch of people to South America, makes a cult, convinces them all to drink the Kool-Aid, and everyone's just like, "What the fuck happened here? Who convinced you all to do that?" You know, and it's sort of the same thing with any political administration. You know, you're all convinced to do things which are kind of bad for you, but because your leader tells you to do it, you do it. You know.
There's a lot of psychology behind that. People, the average person, the average person will obey authority despite whatever it is they request of them.
Yeah, like if a man tells you to jump off a cliff, would you do it if they were your boss? If you put trust into them?
Well, I feel like people would start to question it if it was their preservation that was in question.
Yeah, but if he said, you know, oh, it's fine, you know, I've got a trampoline and it'll be fine, would you trust them?
Personally, no, because I don't trust anyone. But yeah, politics is a mess. Religion shouldn't be mixed with it, although people say it should be.
Well, I mean, religion comes into its own. Religion isn't a bad thing, but organized religion and exploitation religion is a terrible thing. But we also shouldn't get religion and cults mixed up.
Oh, for sure.
I always say, like, most religions and cults, there's a thin line between them, but it's usually peace. You know, like ISIS is a death cult, but Islam is a religion. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's very hard to talk about religion nowadays without getting into 4chan territories, but
I can't have a discussion about politics or religion with anyone around me because it's ingrained in their head not to accept or even consider another viewpoint.
No. I mean, I have to because growing up, I've always been open-minded and listened to people and other viewpoints, and I've just, you know, it's important to take in new ideas because it helps you grow as a person. You know, you don't have to agree with them, but you do have to listen to them, and you can take something away from them. Like, I work with a lot of Eastern European people, and I've taken a lot of their culture on board. You know, I try new foods that they offer. We exchange ideas and talk about history and culture. It's a great melting pot exercise for people.
Yeah, that's what I like about like the London area in the UK.
Yeah,
I like countries that are accepting of other cultures because you get to learn and mix and understand one another better. That's what the internet's like. That's why I appreciate the internet so much.
Oh, definitely.
I get to see everyone's viewpoints and accept them.
I mean, an example is back here in the 80s, there was a huge rush of people from India coming over. And what that brought was there was a huge culinary revolution where curries were made popular and we all experimented with them. And that's how I believe the tikka masala was born. That was a British invention. It was just a guy trying to make his own take on curry, but with limited resources. And it's just nice seeing like hybridization of cultures clashing together. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think, was it tikka masala or was it vindaloo? I think it might have been vindaloo. God. I'm so bad with my own history sometimes. But no, it's nice to see a merge of cultures and religions. You know, sometimes they'll clash, and sometimes they'll just spark it off. That's all.
Of course.
Yeah.
Humans are such a weird people,
Race.
but like, there's beauty in the weirdness within them, I guess, or something like that. I don't know. Put it on a t-shirt.
We're gonna make a lot of t-shirts.
We're making a lot of t-shirts on a merch store I don't have. But at the end of the day, people are gonna they're gonna find their beliefs, stand firm in it, or they will be open-minded and look through a different looking glass, see the world in a whole new color,
Yeah.
And they're gonna
absolutely.
grow. Because I think people are meant to grow and be creative and create things. But if you have this stalemate mindset where it's just you're so dead set on one opinion, then you don't grow. You'll never grow from it. Anyways, I think that'll be it for this, because it's already 55 minutes.
Wow, it's been a while.
Yeah, time goes by when you're talking about stuff.
Yeah, just, talking shit.
But
So I was just taking a bite of some food. I'm sorry.
I'd like to thank you for, joining the podcast today. I know I haven't done podcasts in like months just because I can't find people to do it. But it was really fun, and I think we had a lot of good, interesting conversations today.
Well, thank you for having me. If you ever want to do this again, just give me a shout.
Oh, for
always
sure.
Always fun just to pork out ideas.
And thanks for being on, Jeb. Is there anything you'd like to say before we close up here?
Just if you're listening out there, just be kind to each other. Terrible, but we're gonna get through this one way or another, and just do something that makes you happy. Just get out there. Get out there.
Yeah, work on yourself. Figure out something new that you like.
Yeah, just do it.
Alrighty, I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you want more podcast episodes, I have a playlist you can click and check down below. You can subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter. You can also follow Jeb on Twitter. I'll link that down below.
Thank you.
And I think that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-byes.